We have here verse 16 of the 11th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus has just told his disciples that now he's intending to return to Judea, which of course was the place where only recently his life had been put at risk because of the hostility of the religious leaders. The disciples probably, at least to some degree from personal interest, have been hopeful that he would stay where he is, which is there along the Jordan, but now Jesus has made it clear that Lazarus, their friend, has died and that Jesus must go back there with presumably the idea in mind. It must have been somewhere in their imaginations that Jesus would actually be raising Lazarus from the dead, which is indeed exactly what happened. Well, this interesting statement, of course, well known, when we have Thomas speaking, apen from lego, second aorist, third person singular, aorist active indicative. He said, un, postpositive, conjunction, therefore he said. Then Thomas, this is the word Thomas, of course. This is the Aramaic form of the name. And then ho, the nominative, singular, masculine article, the being called or being said. This is from lego, I say. This is the present passive participle, masculine, singular, nominative, and thus it goes with Thomas. So he said, Thomas, the being called is the idea, a way to give his name. Didymos, this name is the Greek form of the same name. So these two are really comparable. Both of them in their respective languages mean twin, which has given rise, of course, to the view that maybe Thomas was a twin. We don't know that, but certainly the evidence would tend to point in that way. So Thomas, who is also called Didymus, the twin, said, tois, the dative plural masculine article, to the sumathetais. This is the only time this word is used in the New Testament. Of course, you can recognize the root of it is mathetes, which means disciple. The prefix there, the preposition sun, with the nu changed to a mu in this case. Sumathetes means fellow disciples, those who were disciples with him, speaking that there is a kind of solidarity among them now at this point, and Thomas saying these things, of course, likely not meeting any resistance, but more or less speaking what was the common attitude among them. Ogomen, this word was actually used in the preceding sentence. It's the first person plural, present active subjunctive. It's called the hortatory subjunctive, and so it usually comes over into English with the phrase let us, let's do this, let us do that. So let us go. Kai, the connective humes. Kai humes used in this conjunction means either also us or even us, so let us also probably is the sense of it. Go. Hina, the word that means in order that, normally takes the subjunctive as we have it here. In order that, apothnesko is the root word here. It means I die. This is the second aorist. It's in the subjunctive, so it's the first person plural, aorist active subjunctive, in order that we might die is the idea. Met, preposition taking the genitive, met out to the pronoun, genitive singular, masculine him, so that we might die with him. Some have mused as to what exactly is the attitude reflected here. Is he simply being cynical? Not likely. This is likely a firm expression on the part of Thomas that he's willing to go with this one, even though it means going into the very place of death, which does reflect a deep sense of the sincerity, of course, of his discipleship, and in many ways reflects the same attitude that any Christian person should have as a follower of Christ. Thomas is sometimes maligned a bit as doubting Thomas because of the incident that takes place later that you're familiar with. But I think on the whole we have to say that Thomas represents something pure and something that is really to be admired in connection with the heart of discipleship.